we champion conscious consumption, right? So it's about making things correctly with the correct partners and then telling that story to a wider audience. So I think are always on the lookout for good partners that have a strong sustainability outlook, be it social sustainability, working with underprivileged sectors in the community, helping them upskill, or it's environmental sustainability, choosing materials that are very thoughtful and less harmful to the environment. What we do well is to tell that story to a larger audience. And this year, we have actually intentionally expanded our outreach to not just Singapore brands, but regional brands. So for example, Sukacita, they work with underprivileged ibus or mothers, stay-at-home mothers in Indonesia, and they help them grow their crops pesticides-free. So we thought this was a great brand to kind of showcase. We are also working with Ruri, a Hong Kong designer, a Hong Kong brand, to help present the best of Hong Kong in Singapore. Resale, rental and repair, I think, is still going through a market segmentation phase, where they're trying to figure out what's the correct price point, because we know that the demand is up there. What's the correct price point? How do they reach consumers better? By reaching out to better known brands, right, whose ticket price is a bit higher, and then inviting them to be on the rental platform. You then can reach a greater a market group who then don't typically want to buy an expensive gown and use it once or twice and then put it in the closet. So this is a huge opportunity where I think we see a lot of rental companies such as Style Theory making good progress, not just in Singapore, but in Hong Kong and regionally. EPR, while it is now mandated in Europe, I think in Singapore, we don't have EPR as a regulation. Right? But that being said, I think it is necessary for the bigger players to then look at EPR as a way of contributing back to the environment, because they and their consumers are probably more responsible than others. But having voluntary EPR or having industry support is not good enough. I think a lot of times these things tend to need governmental support to then make this into a national dialogue. So we're still working on figuring out how much pollution or how much landfill is enough for then the government and Singapore to then sit up and say, okay, this is a problem we now have to tackle together. We are now collating information to find out the economic disbenefits and the economic benefits for the government, for industry, for community to then come together to work on this as a national problem. Packaging is something that the National Environmental Agency has been working on very successfully. Construction waste has been dealt with quite successfully. Now 98%, we talked about it before. So how can we learn from that working prototype to then apply it to textile waste, right, which is a subset of extended producer responsibility. So we're working on that by gathering a lot more data and insights and seeing if industry players can come together to form one part of the tripartite that we need to get this going. Recently, we have signed an MOU with Temasek CIIP, Center for Impact Investments Practices. And the CIIP has their own amplifier program, right, which is to help companies who have already proof of concept and proof of value to scale up. By joining their program, you get $250,000 in grant money and a lot of opportunities to network and mentorships. So by signing this MOU, we have committed to providing industry and domain knowledge to textile and circularity sector. We have actually mentored a couple of the companies that came through the Amplifier program, and now we're committed to doing more for this year, next year, and so on and so forth.